The diner was quiet that Tuesday morning, just the sound of clinking cups and the low hum of old country music playing from the jukebox. Outside, gray clouds hung low, promising rain. Inside, a man sat at a corner booth, sipping black coffee, watching two little boys argue over pancakes. Jake Turner, a 34-year-old single dad, looked every bit as tired as he felt. His eyes were heavy with sleepless nights and worry lines etched into his face like permanent reminders of the past 5 years. Raising twins alone since his wife passed away in childbirth had been nothing short of war. And some days, like today, he was losing battles. Across the room, the bell above the door jingled. A woman walked in wearing fatigues, a duffel bag slung over her shoulder, and boots covered in desert dust. Her short hair was tucked under a cap, and her stance was proud, yet there was something in her eyes, a kind of loneliness that matched Jake's. She sat down 2 tables over, alone, ordered coffee, and stared out the window like she wasn't really there. Jake recognized that look. He'd seen it in his own mirror every morning. His boys were now laughing, syrup on their cheeks, throwing napkins at each other. Jake tried to calm them, but they were wild, sweet, but wild. He sighed, then glanced again at the woman in uniform. She hadn't looked away from the window once. And then, without fully knowing why, he stood up, walked over to her table, and said, "I need a wife, you need strong sons." She blinked. Jake froze. What had he just said? He chuckled awkwardly. "I'm sorry, that came out wrong. I mean, my boys, they need someone strong. And I saw you, sitting here, and, I don't know, something told me you were strong." The woman tilted her head. "You always propose to strangers over coffee?" He rubbed the back of his neck. "It's been a long 5 years." She smiled faintly. "Name's Grace. Sergeant Grace Holloway. Just got back from my 3rd tour." He extended his hand. "Jake Turner. Pancake Wrangler." She shook it. Her grip was firm, but warm. "You're a strange man, Jake Turner. And you're the first person I've seen in a while who doesn't flinch when my kids throw napkins." She glanced at the boys, now giggling uncontrollably. Something softened in her expression. "Want to join us?" he asked, already half regretting it. She hesitated. Then stood. Why not? The conversation that morning flowed easier than either expected. Grace told stories of the desert, the unbearable heat, and the friends she left behind. Jake spoke about his boys, how they reminded him of his late wife and how he often felt like a broken compass trying to guide them. For weeks after that morning, Grace kept returning to the diner. Sometimes she sat with them. Sometimes she helped Jake carry the boys out when they fell asleep mid-burger. Once, she even fixed their flat tire in the rain without blinking. The boys started calling her Sarge. Jake started smiling more. But Grace never stayed long. She was still unpacking the weight of war from her soul. One night, Jake found her outside the diner, sitting on the curb, eyes red. "My CO," she said quietly, "didn't make it back. He had 3 kids. I held his hand at the end. Told him I'd find them someday. Tell them their dad was brave." Jake sat beside her. "I don't know how to be a mom," she whispered. "You already are," Jake said. "You just don't know it yet." That was the turning point. 3 months later, Grace moved into the spare room at Jake's place, just temporary, they both insisted. But the boys didn't see it that way. They built her a welcome fort out of couch cushions and army men. They painted a cardboard sign that read, "Sarge's base, no crying allowed, except during cartoons." Grace laughed harder than she had in years. In time, they became a strange little unit, 1 tired dad, 1 tough soldier, and 2 wild-hearted boys. And one night, after dinner, Jake stood in the kitchen, watching her rinse dishes with soap bubbles clinging to her sleeves. He took a deep breath. "Grace," he said. She looked up. "I still need a wife. And I still think you need sons." She dried her hands. "Are you saying that for them, or for you?" Jake looked at her, really looked. "For all of us." They married in the backyard. Small ceremony. No suits. No dress. The boys wore matching superhero capes and held wooden swords. Grace wore her dog tags over a sundress. Jake read vows scribbled on a napkin. And when he said, "I do," it wasn't just to her, but to the healing, to the chaos, and to the beauty of second chances. Years passed. Grace taught the boys discipline, strength, and kindness. Jake taught them how to bake cookies without burning the house down. Together, they taught them how to love. One day, the boys asked why Grace never had her own kids. She smiled. "Because I was meant to find you instead."